Hi, my name is Lisa Martin. I am the mother of a child with special needs. He has Fragile X syndrome. In many respects, he has been my teacher. He has made me be a more caring, compassionate, better human being. What we have learned together on our journey, I have realised the difficulties and challenges that parents of special needs children face are wide and varied. During my years of facilitating courses for parents and professionals, I have met some wonderful people who have shared with me their stories of great joy and sadness, who have experienced the good, the bad and the ugly of all aspects of life bringing up their special children. I am passionate about empowering parents who are dedicated in helping their children with additional needs. You're invited to my podcast. I will be talking about all things in our special world of disability and additional needs. I will be interviewing other parents of children with special needs, as well as professionals and people in the community who are offering services that help. Sometimes these podcasts might touch an emotional nerve and upset you. Other times they might fill you with joy and empower you. I don't mean to make you angry or upset, but we need to get a wider audience listening and talking about disability. Only when this happens, I believe disability won't be feared as it is today. Hello, my name's Lisa Martin. I'd like to introduce Ben. Ben's a yoga teacher at the MahaDevi yoga school. It's a yoga centre for special children.
Yeah.
So hi Ben, welcome to the good, the bad and the ugly.
Thank you for inviting me to speak. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. So my little boy Iggy comes here and
Yes.
and he can be quite challenging, as you know, but it's really good for him, the yoga. So I'm going to start with talking a little bit about you and how you got into this line of work.
Okay. Yeah. So as we were just speaking before, yoga's always been a big part of my life, and it's been getting bigger and bigger as I've kind of got older. Probably since my late teens, I've had some interest in it and have had a regular practice. Sometimes practicing, religiously. Other times it's not been there quite so much as life gets quite busy. But it's always been there in the background, and I don't just mean like the physical practice of yoga, but I've also been interested in the philosophy, in the music, in the art that accompanies it. So I've always had it there in the background, and I chose a completely non-yoga related career at the beginning, and after university went into sort of project management and charity fundraising, and worked for a whole range of organisations, from homelessness organisations through to international development, sensory impairment, a whole host of medical organisations. Worked my way sort of through these different charities, and just kind of reached a point where I thought, where am I going with this? And I was very tired, almost had kind of a bit of burnout, I would say, a bit of fatigue, not burnout, just a bit tired. And I decided to take a sabbatical, and obviously with this kind of interest in yoga always being in the background, I thought, well, let's explore that. Here's a great opportunity to explore that a bit further. Give myself a break and a holiday as well, although the training wasn't that much of a holiday. So I took a sabbatical for a year. I think I was away for about 11 months. Most of those were in India. And as part of that, I did 200-hour, that was my first official yoga teacher training.
Wow.
We were talking a bit before, in a wonderful city, the home of yoga in India, Rishikesh, in like the sprawling foothills of the Himalayas, and
the Ganges run through.
The river runs through, and you're very immersed, not just in, it is, I'm not going to lie, it's quite westernised, but compared to London, you are very much immersed in Indian culture. And it is, although I thought I was having a sabbatical and a holiday and a break, it was one of the most intense experiences. Just the strain on my body, having to practice for that many hours a day, day in, day out, as well as studying anatomy, physiology, class planning, all of these things that go into being a yoga teacher. But it was really, really amazing. And then I carried on with my travels, had a bit more of a holiday. I came back to London, and I still had this I guess the idea of going back to an office after that was very challenging, and I decided, I thought, well, there's no rush, and maybe I explore. I've done this training. Maybe I could offer it to people, maybe at a sort of community level, go into some places and just see what comes of it. And then I bumped into an old friend, Aphrodite, who also teaches here, who actually teaches your son, and she said that Denisa, who is the founder of MahaDevi, Roberta Suma Yoga Centre, she was looking for male teachers just to teach typical adult group classes. And we met, we got on really well, and I started to teach some regular adult classes. And then as a result of that, after working with her, she persuaded me, because she really needed extra cover teachers for her children, she persuaded me to do the first part of the yoga for the special child training, the Sonia Suma method, which is the methodology that we teach here.
And before you didn't think of working with children at all, did you?
No. I mean, it was so far removed from anything that I'd ever even considered as a job. It wasn't even on the table to be in the no pile. It just wasn't there, full stop. And that's not because I don't like children. Clearly, you have to like children a certain amount to have been doing it for so long now. But it just wasn't a path that was laid out to me. It wasn't certainly yoga teacher isn't something that you do when you do your questionnaire and when you're doing your A levels about your career. You put all the questions into the computer and it comes out with your top career choices. And yoga teacher certainly wasn't one of them. I can't remember what they were, but also charity fundraising wasn't one of them. So I've never chosen careers that were really there on the table and supported in college or anything. So. No, absolutely, never would have thought in a million years that A, I'd like it, B, I would be any good at it, or that it would be of interest to me. So, maybe I might come back to that point at some point where but no, at the moment it's going really well. But I think the change happened during that training, where the training's divided. It's very rigorous, as you'd expect. It's very deep, rigorous training that that is challenging on lots of different levels. You're in a closed group of trainees for 45 hours over the course of a week, and you're really pulled apart, built back up again, and you really get to understand yourself. And I think the thing that I noticed the most and has been the main driver for me was the fact that I was, apart from one other guy, was the only guy in that training. I was the only man in that training. And time again, this thing keeps coming up for me now that I've got a couple of years under my belt working in a kind of care environment. There are a lot more women than there are men, and also in the teaching profession as well. So I felt quite strongly, and it was purely at this stage just intuitive, that being a man and being a positive role model potentially for some young people that are going through various different challenges was going to be a good thing. And now I really stick by that, actually, and it's been the thing that has kept me going with this. And we have at MahaDevi Yoga Centre, we see far more boys than we do, but we only have 2 male teachers. So I think that after I started to do a few cover classes, I then started to take on more and more and more and more. And also with my charity background, taking on more of the kind of the business administration, and also more advanced training. So now I'm in a position where I'm helping to run the charity, and I have a full client list of all boys, and I just really feel that I feel strongly that there's a bit of a gap actually in yoga and in the care profession for positive male role models to step in and to give something.
I would completely agree. Yeah, because even in schools, special schools, as well as just normal schools and early years and things like that, there's hardly any men. And these children, you're absolutely right, you were saying earlier that it's usually the mums who are doing a lot of the lion's share of the care, because it could be because they're separated, or it could be because the dads are working full time, and there needs to be more male mentors in our children's lives. I know my child definitely needs more males, because me and my gaggle of female friends, he must be a bit fed up of all the ladies. I couldn't agree more. And I'd say that it's not all the time, but it will be mum that usually brings the kid to see us, and as you know full well, there's a whole load of my friends here, the girls that are working here, who will jump on the kids, showing them all the love and affection that we're proud of showing here. But there's no men necessarily showing that same affection, and that's showing that same closeness between men is also healthy and important. Yes, very much so.
So that's why we're pro hugs here, and giving the guys a hug when they need it, and just showing that safe, what safe, healthy adult relationships look like, and how that's not just for women but also for men as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Ben. Yeah. So you were saying you've done the first yoga course to be able to work here with the special children, and that allowed you to just work with more the high functioning children, didn't it? The first course that you did.
Well, I think it gave me a framework.
Yeah.
It gave me a solid framework to be able to hold space for some of the guys, and to go through. I mean, the thing about the Sonia Suma method, what makes it so strong, is that it's a very clear pathway, it's a very clear set of techniques that we're using, and we're using those, although we'll obviously adapt slightly for different people, but there's a very clear framework that we're using, and we're using that in all our classes, not just with the children, but also with the adults as well. And that framework comes with 40 years, 50 years of experience. Wow. So I felt confident just with that first training. I wasn't just, nothing we're doing here is new. It's been tried and tested and refined and honed over the last 40 years. So I felt confident to work, and it was my choice to work with the higher functioning, because I felt that I needed to have a couple of it, I don't want to use the word easy, but I wanted to work on refining and working with the technique rather than working purely with behaviour management. Because you can get distracted,
completely.
You can get distracted, and I wanted to really understand the sequence that we were taking. The breathing, the relaxation, the eye exercises, every different component of a class, as well as building a relationship with the child. I wanted to build those skills before I had to before I had to bring in other things, like managing difficult, challenging behaviour. So it was, and that works really well. That, as well as observation. So we're very, we're very keen that all our new trainees have, minimum of 30 hours observation before they would be working with someone. So it's important. We wouldn't put someone, if anyone was thinking about doing this training, don't think that you're going to get thrown in the deep end with no support. This is a journey, and we take it very slowly.
I think that's really important. So now you work with all the different spectrum, and it's not just autism, is it?
No, far from it. No. I mean, new conditions are being made. We're being made aware of new conditions all the time that we didn't even know about. So as medicine and diagnosis and advances, the range of conditions that we have experiencing changes.
Wow.
So and even autistic spectral disorder now is broken into lots of different conditions, even within one family of conditions. There's going to be lots of different things going on, and they're going to present themselves in lots of different ways. But we'll be working with people with mobility problems. We have a lot of cerebral palsy children here, Down syndrome. I'm trying to think now, I can't off the top of my head, but sensory impairment, people with problems with hearing and vision. And I would say that it ranges from the profoundly compromised, complex needs at one very extreme end, to incredibly bright, high functioning, completely mobile in mainstream school.
Right.
And everything in between. Everything in between. All sorts.
And saying earlier, obviously my child Iggy comes here as well, and he can be quite challenging at times, and he had quite a difficult year last year because of high levels of anxiety, and that presents itself in behaviour, and all of you guys are really on it with the behaviour. So did you get training in the behaviour management side of skills as well?
No, we didn't, and in a way I'm quite glad that we didn't, because like I said, there is nothing, and obviously I'm going to promote and push my own methodology, and I'm sure that there are lots of other things that work. There are lots of other techniques that maybe we don't know about, or that we do know about, that work, and that's not to diminish any of those, but we're yoga teachers, so if we can't find the solution from within our own methodology, then I don't know if we'd be living and working in integrity. So we don't have particular behavioural management techniques, but then you could say that breathing is a behavioural management technique, because we're getting kids to connect with their breath, to have deeper breathing, pressure, things like pressure, subtle movement, managing lowering the sensory input, these kind of things that would be in any yoga class can be used. It's just how you apply them. And
this is why it's so brilliant for our children, this yoga, because they do need the deep pressure. The breathing calms them down, because a lot of our children with additional needs across the board, the spectrum, all different diagnoses, they suffer highly from anxiety, and yoga's just great for that, whether you've got additional needs or not, isn't it?
I mean, great that you just mentioned that, because more and more we are, we're a specialist centre that is designed to be able to see children with additional needs. However, there is a cohort, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, of the typical children who are coming to us with anxiety, mental health, which aren't necessarily put into the additional needs category. And it's heartbreaking. These are not older children, these are younger children who are coming to us with exam pressure, social pressures, which are leading to anxiety, sleep problems, eating problems, and it's just like, I don't know, we're not in a place to comment on why. We just deal with what comes in through our door, and we'll again apply this methodology because we know it works. But I just don't remember it being like that when I was younger. That's what I don't remember.
I think there's a lot more pressure for children in this day and age. I think social media's got a big answer to that as well, because it's visual, isn't it? Everyone's has to look good. Everyone's got to. There's expectations put on children that weren't there when we were children, I think. And I just wanted to say also on that this is a place that we something that we do struggle with, because in a sense society is built to test children, and to not just children but organisations, and to measure, and the progress that we make here isn't necessarily measurable, in a sense of, on a scale of 1 to 10, how, we can't measure like that, because each day is different. And you'll know that, you celebrate a day or a good hour sometimes, so it's not something that's necessarily quantifiable using the metrics that society are asking us to use.
and also at the same time, we don't want it to be, because these children are tested in every other place. So why can't they just come in here and have a good session? And that's what we celebrate. And of course, there's progress over time. But we don't want to be in that position where we're marking people, where we're rewarding with happy smileys. They get that. There's plenty of places. That's not what we do here.
That's brilliant you've said that, because a lot of organisations in this day and age, everyone's just a number. But actually everyone's so unique, especially in the world of disability. But everybody anyway is so unique, and you're absolutely right. What works one day might not work the next day. I mean, I get that completely with Iggy, because sometimes I just think I'm the best parent in the world. I've got this. I've really got this. Everything's working really well. And then it's like someone pulls the rug from underneath my feet, and then Iggy's anxiety levels are up again, and I've got to start from scratch.
I can totally understand that.
So some of the characters that you do get here as well, and I'm talking about the parents as well as the children. You get to know everybody really well, because it seems as if it's just like one big happy family here. Everyone seems to know each other really well. Yeah,
I think that there's one thing that is repeated throughout all our literature somewhere, that in all the leaflets and on the website, in every funding application that we send out, it will be in there somewhere that we work with the whole family. We don't work with one individual child. We don't separate them from their family unit. That's why we spend extra time to make sure that this space is as welcoming and as friendly, and it's a time where I get to see everything from behind this desk, and you see parents come in, and you can just feel the tension. You feel the tension, you feel it, and they just get an hour. We take the child off for an hour, and you just see the parents suddenly. It's just like everything just relax. You see, some will just sit there and read a book. Some will fall asleep. Some just haven't spoken to another adult for such a long time that they just start talking to you about everything, and we make it homely, and sometimes we offer concessionary rates for siblings, so that we can, sometimes it's the siblings that really struggle even more, because so much attention is put on their brother or sister. So we try to strengthen those bonds, and have every once a month we'll invite the kids in, the brother or sister into the sessions as well. So everyone's welcome here, and we're working with whole family units, not children individually.
That's so important, and it was great that you mentioned the siblings, because a lot of siblings of children with additional needs, it's not that they get forgotten about, it's just that sometimes the parents are so concentrated on the child with additional needs that
of course it's going to be like that. It's going to, I mean, you mentioned challenging behaviour in an hour of some of these kids, and I'm like, okay, this was really nice, but I'm ready to say goodbye. And then you think, wow, some of these kids are sharing a bedroom with a brother or sister, and they get they don't have a break from that, and it's just, of course, we have to work with the whole family, because everyone's experiencing the impact of the condition in a slightly different way. The child directly experiences it, the parents experience that in a different way, the siblings experience it in a different way. They all are part of that kind of structure of the condition, of the effect it has.
Disability affects everybody, not just the person who's suffering from the disability.
Of course, it
the
really
whole
does.
family,
It really, really
the community.
Does. And that's a whole different conversation. How many children with learning difficulties with autism are in work? Not children, but young adults. How many are in work? 6%. We know the answer. We've done the research. It's 94% of children with learning difficulties, in particular, are unemployed.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's completely. It's not sad. I mean, it's unnecessary.
Completely.
It's completely unnecessary. I mean, it's just about changing the conversation around that, and to say that there will be those with more complex needs that even we run a work experience program here, and we have young men with profound autism coming to work for us who can contribute, and it's not because we need help. We do need help, just putting that out there. We're a charity that needs help, but people view work as being purely about getting something, money back or something. But actually, work is much bigger than that for these young people. It's about being able to contribute something, to be able to give something back to their communities, and to have something to wake up for, where they're needed. Where they're
to
needed.
Build their self-esteem, isn't
absolutely.
it? Everyone needs self-esteem.
Absolutely. And I just can't, when we read that statistic, we were just like, we totally got it straight away. We're like, that's absolutely right.
I didn't know you'd done that, actually. That's amazing.
It's a sort of fledgling program at the moment.
Yeah.
It started last year. We have our own people from our own portfolio of families and clients, some people who aren't in education or employment. That's the target group, really, because they need it the most. So we have a couple of guys coming in. We work closely with an organisation called the Harrington Scheme, who have a garden centre and IT space just up in Haringey, and they send young people to us to work.
Wow.
And we've just opened up a more general volunteering, because volunteering is another great way to get work experience, a more general, less structured, more general volunteering programme for anyone over the age of 14. So
that's fantastic.
yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's really good, and also, and it's nice to for, like I said, we work with the whole family, and we also work with making that to a larger level. We work with the whole community, so we have a community of typical adult yoga students that come in the evening. And at the start, we're kind of like, we should sort of separate the two groups. But actually now everyone comes for yoga, whether it's work experience, and everyone's coming to the same place for the same reason. I think that's what real inclusion means. Inclusion is it's an overused word in education, but after education, inclusion suddenly stops. And here we are a fully inclusive organisation, which means there's no that your typical adult yoga student will come in and they will meet one of the kids that we're working with, and they'll be doing the same yoga classes, not obviously at the same time, but it's all part of the same thing.
Oh, that's so amazing. I just love what you guys are doing here. It's really vital, actually. It's vital for the whole family, not just the child, like you say, the family, the siblings, the community. It's really great. Yeah. Thank you for putting this on.
I know that you're planning to interview, but it really is down to Denise's vision of having I think there are lots of people practicing this methodology privately, and they're doing some great stuff, and they're going into people's homes. But to have an actual dedicated physical space, I think is really important. It's a hub. It's where people meet. New connections and bonds and relationships are formed. We're creating, a support network for a lot of people here, and that's definitely down to the vision of Denise. So I must admit, I have to hand it over to her.
Denise is an amazing human being. And I've personally felt a lot of support here, because there's been moments in my life where it's been really tough. It's been really hard, and Iggy has been really challenging, and Iggy's gone into to do his yoga. With a lot of resistance, I may add.
Really?
And then I've just broken down and cried. And there's always been someone here to hold me.
Yeah, it's a safe space. I mean, I see, honestly, I can't stress it enough. From behind that desk, I see everything. Tears, laughter, I see, everything is welcome. And I see it all. I see people with a lot of money. I see people with no money. I see happy families. I see families that are struggling. I see absolutely everything, and it's all welcome here. It's all welcome. No one's turned away. It's all welcome. The only thing is, as long as we can keep everybody safe, and we have a very strict safeguarding policy, that is the foundation of the work that we do here. As long as everyone's safe, everything's welcome. Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah.
So when you're working with the children as well, what really struck me as well when you were saying that there isn't hardly any men in this caring profession. Why do you think that is? How do you think we can change it as well?
I don't have the answer to that yet. Maybe I will. But I think it's one thing I'd say. I just don't feel that it is the solution doesn't lie with the men. or not so much that the solution will come from the caring and the yoga community. It's up to us to take responsibility for that and to decide, is it something that we want? It's something that I want, but if we all really wanted it, if we really understood the value of it, then we would find the solution. Maybe it's about some reflection to see what is the value of having more men, and once we can understand the value, the impact that it has, then I think solutions will come. One of the solutions probably, is that, maybe there is we need to talk to men in more resonant language, being more appealing and talking to them in, I don't even know what this means, I'm just stream of consciousness now, but in language that they're going to understand, with images that they're going to get, rather than I'm not saying that the images and the language we use doesn't appeal to men, but it certainly feels quite fluffy and it's very soft, and maybe that softness men may feel isn't for them. I don't know. I'm just talking now, but I do think the responsibility is our responsibility as in the care profession, in the yoga profession, to answer those questions and to think about it, because it's so rewarding that I think that we don't, it is so rewarding that I think that once the trend starts, it will be hard to stop, and then we'll get to a point where it's, there's too many men.
I hope so. I really hope so. That would be great.
And I just think that, but it's also, I went to a yoga, we did a student fair. The guys above us in the building above us is student accommodation, and we offer some discounts to attract students in, and so we had a stand at their welcome fair because it's the new September intake, and all the men, yoga, I thought yoga was just for girls, I thought so. Even yoga is struggling in itself, let alone the care profession, but we're not struggling, but it's this is the attitude
exactly
that people have, that it's just for, that it's a thing for girls.
And it's certainly not easy.
I'd say this is the thing. I say I invite you to my class. I'll invite you to my class, and then I'll ask you the question at the end, and we'll see what you think. And to think that working with young men here, ones which is easy, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not. It's fun. It's rewarding. It's but I would never say it was easy. It's not easy.
But you quite like the challenge, don't you?
Yeah, I like the challenge. I like the challenge.
Yeah, and especially with the various different challenges that come with the different children as well.
Oh, they're all different.
It must be it must be really rewarding to get these children, one, doing the yoga and then really benefiting from the yoga as well.
Yeah, and sometimes there's been times where I've given up. I've given up and I've been like, that's it. I'm handing. It's patience. There's we're so always trying to get things done quickly. And nothing happens with these guys quickly. And there's been times where I've come to Denise for supervision or to check in with her. And I'm like, that's it for me. I'm finished with them. I've tried everything. We've done this. We've done that. I've changed the room we're in. I've changed the layout of the room we're in. I've changed the order of the sequence that we're doing. And she's always like, just give it one more chance. Just give it one more chance. And there was one boy, and it was I was at the end. I finished. I just thought I can't. I thought he's not getting anything out of it. I'm not getting anything out of it. Let's try with somebody else. And that's, I thought and then that last session, it's just changed.
Oh, wow.
It was something about me letting go, because it was finished for me. I was letting go of all the expectations that I was putting on him to do better. Yeah.
And he must have felt that. He must have just felt the kind of vibe.
I just let go, and I was like, this is our last. For me, it was our last session. And I was going to just have a chat with Mum and just explain and just say, I think it would be good for him to try with another teacher. And I don't think we've ever had a bad session since, after a year. So
that really warms my heart.
It's those kind of things. And then you think, wow, what we're doing here, and the power of and also how much I have to be aware of what I'm bringing in to this, you know, all my fears and all my desire to for this child to progress, all these things that I was putting onto him, actually maybe were holding him back, and you have to go in there transparent, like strong, boundaried, but you know, you've got to be clear that you can't be bringing your stuff into the session with they're highly sensitive individuals that can be picking up on things that you're not even aware of.
Yeah, it's like they've got superpowers. I really believe our children with disabilities, with additional needs, they've all got some form of superpower. I believe
they. I mean, in a more obvious way, you know, where one part of your being is limited, in a sense it can create room for other parts to expand in ways that we wouldn't have to necessarily expand them. So I mean, one thing is body language, you know, for me is a really big one that we have to be really aware of, because I see people that will imitate me. They will imitate what I do. So if my alignment, if I come in slouched, and, you know, in a bit of a bad mood, they're slouched in a bit of a bad mood, and it is that, and I can move. We'll be in a yoga pose, and I can move a finger, and I've actually tested this, a few centimetres to the left, and I look over, their middle finger moves a few centimetres to the left.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
But that is the level of awareness that you need to have about yourself when you're bringing it into the practice, because they will copy everything when they're within that stage. Obviously not everybody, but when they're in the kind of developmental stage, that they will copy everything.
That's amazing.
So also be careful what you say.
Oh,
Make sure no swear words.
It's modelling behaviour, isn't it? And that's the biggest positive behaviour management technique that we use, and we use it without thinking. But you're absolutely right. We do need to think about it, because we need to be aware of our body and what we say. Because our children pick up everything. I mean, Iggy mimics really well, to the point where he's, you know, his favourite show is Noddy at the moment, and Noddy speaks in an American accent, so he started speaking in American accent.
I have to listen out for that. And I take it and another dimension to that is also that if we're feeling, because we are human beings with all the stuff that we've got going on in our personal lives, and if for any, you know, we have to sometimes say that actually we're not in a place to teach today, because and I don't mean physically, I mean if you've got some stuff going on, because we'll just pass it straight on to them, you know. And so we have to be, I mean, I this year I lost my father, you know, he passed away after quite a short battle with cancer, and there was times where I just knew that it wasn't so much the grief, but I'd say that the anxiety and the stress. There's quite a few sessions where I just said that actually today it's not going to be possible for me to teach, because, you know, I'm trying to de-stress people, and you know, if you're coming in stressed, then you know it's just not going to work, because they're going to pick up on it.
That's great that you were completely true to yourself to be able to say that and do that as well, because with a normal job, you know, a lot of people don't allow you to just be true to yourself. You know, you'd still have to go into work, wouldn't you?
And it's all about you know, I guess when you go into you know, like an office job or another job, when you leave the house in the morning, you put on your mask for the day of that job, you know. Sometimes it's easier because you're wearing this costume, this mask, and you've got a set of some kind of socially sanctioned behaviours that you just need to mimic to get through the day, and you'll go in, and this is how. Here we're asking you to take the mask off. You know, because the power is you being you, is in you being, you know, that's. I don't know if I mentioned it when we were recording, but the reason why I like this work so much is I don't need to be anybody other than Ben when I go into that session. In fact, the best sessions are when I am just me. Just me. Not even teacher. It's just me and, you know, child and Ben doing yoga together, and that's when it works the best.
That's perfect. And getting back to you saying about when you're feeling anxious or you've got your own stuff going on, and the children can feel that. But being a parent of a child with additional needs, this is something that I really struggle with myself, because we can't take take ourselves away. This is, we are the parent, that's our job 24/7. And quite often, due to having a child with additional needs, we get highly anxious or stressed. We're trying to battle a broken system on top of dealing with challenging behaviour. And that really, I struggle with that, because I feel that my child really feels my anxiety, which then he gets anxious because I'm anxious. And then sometimes it's his anxiety that makes me anxious. So it's kind of like we're feeding off each other, and it's such a struggle for us parents sometimes to park that up.
Yeah, I mean 100% that you are feeling each other's or experiencing each other's kind of emotional, mental landscape, without a doubt. I mean, you sharing and living in close proximity, but this, going back, this is why we work with the whole family. That's why it's not possible just to work with a child. It's not possible just to work with them on their own, because it just doesn't. It works to an extent, but when you look at everything that's going on. When you're looking at the work experience, the volunteering, providing a safe space here for parents to really relax, when you're inviting them to join you that's when real, not progress, but that's where some real peace can be found. When you don't start separating these things up and chopping it up into different boxes, and just looking at it as a whole. It's
holistic, isn't it?
Yeah,
the way you're looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was more we could do actually in that area. I mean, we're limited in terms of money and funds and all the resources, but I wish there was more we could do to more things that we could offer for parents. Parents on their own, parent and child, child. I wish there was more that we could do, but we have to stick to what we know and just keep our primary service running, which is a full-time job in itself. But as we develop, and I hope there were more things that we can offer.
Oh, you're doing great already. I mean, what you do offer here for the children and the families is just amazing. So if anybody did want to give you some funding, how would they go about that?
How would they? Well, so funding is we've just had a new landline installed.
Hey, welcome back, Ben. You've taken your phone call, and now we're back to the good, the bad and the ugly. Would you like to share the address of where you're based in London as well, if anyone in the audience would like to come and check you out, or they've got a child who would like to do some special yoga with you guys?
Yeah, of course. We are based at number 12 Eden Grove, and that's London, in the Holloway area, just off the Holloway Road, and the postcode is N7 8EQ. That's N7 8EQ. And we've just, as you just heard, we've got a new landline installed, which is very exciting. And our telephone number is 0207 609 0889. That's 0207 609 0889. And any inquiries that you might have can just be sent to info@mahadevicentre.com, and that's MAHADEVI centre.com.
Fantastic, brilliant. So Iggy's been coming here for quite a while now. Well, since it opened, but you had a smaller place than this.
Yeah.
We were going to that even before this one opened. So if anybody is interested and they can ring you or check your email out, you're always open to people wanting to give for charity.
Of course, yeah. So, I mean, it's, as you can imagine, we're in a amazing, I mean, you remember the last building, which was half the size of just the reception area of this building, or a third of the size of the reception area of this building. And we've, we've moved into a much bigger space, thanks to Islington Borough Council and to our landlords, Student Unite, who own this building. Above us are 900 students living, 900 students in student accommodation. Wow. And thanks to a three-way partnership between MahaDevi, Islington Council and Stapleton House, to Unite Students, we were able to move from a tiny little space to a space which now provides a kitchen facility, proper reception area, 3 rooms, accessible toilets, and all the things that we need to be able to offer a really good service to all our families. But obviously, with that step up, came a lot of it comes a lot of additional expenses. Expenses that you wouldn't even we didn't even imagine coming. I mean, for example, toilet roll was always the biggest shock for me. We just go through it. What do they do with it? How much money we spend a year on that. So there's been a lot of additional expenses, and we've obviously had to grow into this new space. Everything just looks different. Everything is bigger. Everything is now bigger, and we rely on a small income we get from our adult yoga classes. That's the most easiest way you can support us, is to actually come to a class. The yoga sessions with children, although we've never turned anyone away and we offer concessions, there is a small charge associated with those, and that's where we get that's all we get, really. So we are looking at the moment to fundraise a lot more, and fundraising can be anything from organising a little event or a sponsored event that brings in some money for us, to just writing out a cheque. We're happy to accept those, making an online bank transfer. Perhaps your company does a charity of the year thing, or can do some fundraising via that. Your children's school, we'll look at absolutely everything. It does cost, shouldn't hold back from the financial side of things, but between £4,000 and £5,000 just to keep the centre running on a monthly basis. Any income that comes in is going to be used to provide those concessionary sessions for the lowest income families, and also just to keep everything kind of moving forward. So those different ways, if you can just click on our website, there's a donate now button, or you can just use the email address and I can just send you through some bank details. And it's probably worth mentioning that the property that we're in at the moment, we are going to be negotiating how long we can stay here. We don't own this building, how long we can stay here, and there is potential that we may, hopefully not, but we may have to leave at some point. So we're actively fundraising to bring in some unrestricted free reserves, so that when we have an idea of what we're going to do longer term, if it does look like we're going to have to move building, that we've got some money available to do it seamlessly without any disruption. I mean, our children, it's all about routine. So that has to be a very choreographed process.
They don't change at all.
No. So that's why fingers crossed, we'll be staying here for many, many years. But we understand that we have to prepare for risks and mitigate against those risks. So we are looking to raise about £250,000 to do a like-for-like building move, and just to have that ready. And if everything goes well and we can stay here, we would have that money to open up a second site.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
that's
either
exciting.
way, it's good. Either way, we have a building move and we stay here, or we suddenly have 2 buildings. So we are looking to eventually open a second building south of the river.
Oh, good luck with that.
Well, I
that'd
think
be brilliant.
I think you could appreciate that long car journeys aren't good for some of our, and long public transport journeys. So even though we serve the whole of London. Most people are Islington, Haringey, Camden. But there are a whole load of people that are inquiring from South London, and it's just too far. It's just too far. It's just too far.
Especially with the London traffic as well.
It's just not possible. So I'm not saying we would have a building as large as this, but a smaller satellite space that we could run sessions there.
That would be so beneficial to so many people.
And why not? We're in a fortunate position where we wouldn't open a building and then start looking for families to work. We already have the families. We just need to open the building. So we're hoping that within the next 2 years that becomes a reality.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, all the best.
And I think that's it. And also, obviously, money aside, we do have a couple of slots here. There'll always be a few slots that we can. It's once if you are thinking that this might possibly have some benefit to your child or for yourself or to someone that just booking, it would be one of the best things you ever do, booking an evaluation session with Denisa. She has 10 years experience. She'll see things that, we might not be able to see. She can really, understand the best person. We're going to place your child with, the best therapist that they can work with. Give it a couple of sessions, and I'm sure you'll stay.
Yeah.
You'll stay. You'll just,
Definitely.
you will stay. Don't expect anything to change suddenly, but you just give it 3 or 4 sessions, and then it'll be they'll be wanting to come to yoga.
Yeah.
But actually, I say that.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's true though. No, it is true. And you're also looking towards collaborating with other people as well, aren't you?
I think we really would like to expand our reach, I guess, for want of a better word, and we work with, I'm sure you're familiar with Centre 404 on Camden Road.
Yeah.
So we go in there and offer sessions. We work with a local hospice. I go into a primary school in Camden as well to do after school clubs.
Brilliant.
And I think that's just a really quite easy way of us, because we're all about promoting this practice, not just for additional needs, but for everybody.
Yeah.
So if there's an organisation or that you're connected to that you think might benefit from this, we're happy to have a chat and to go in and run group classes or private sessions.
Yeah, that's
We'd really like to do a lot more of that, because actually it works for us because they've got all the facilities set up and we can just go in. We don't. It makes suddenly we can double our sessions that we're running.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ben. I really enjoyed that. I felt like I could talk to you all day.
I could talk all day, so probably best to.
Thank you so much.
Stop it.
And we'll see you on Friday for Iggy's session.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for taking the time to join me today. To find out more about what I do, visit www.specialworldtraining.com and follow us on our Facebook page, Special World Training, Instagram and LinkedIn. I believe knowledge is power and strength is in numbers. And if more people get involved in our special world, we can all make our world a better place. Join me next week for more amazing stories from the good, the bad and the ugly.